My name is Eincrou, and I will be your guide as we enter the world of Dead Space in stereoscopic 3D. Now put on your 3D glasses and prepare to leave this flat world behind. You have now entered the S3DGamerZone. I know. Dead Space is an ancient game and a dubious choice for a review. But come on, don't forget what we do here at S3DGZ. We infuse new life into any game, young or old, by literally taking it to a new dimension. Plucked from the long irrelevant year of 2008, EA Redwood Shore's sci-fi themed survival horror game suddenly gains permanence when played in stereoscopic 3D. The developers studied long and hard to create the most horrifying gaming experience possible. Research materials included horror films and photos of victims of car accidents. I can handle horror films just fine, but looking closely at real-life examples of mutilation is a bit much. I acknowledge Redwood Shore's dedication to their craft. Respect, brothers.
You will play your part soon enough. Witness the conviction of a true believer!
Dead Space has a creative and unique backstory that is surprisingly good for what the game is. It's basically a haunted house in the 26th century. Unfortunately though, the story was very difficult for me to follow during the game. As you might expect for a horror story, information regarding what the hell happened to the derelict ship is dribbled out very slowly. The backstory of what happened prior to your arrival is almost exclusively delivered through text, audio, and video logs. But it's tough to sort them out and arrange them all in my head into this coherent narrative, especially when I'm still trying to figure out what the heck's going on in the present time.
It's hard for me to believe what I'm seeing here. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So after beating the game, I watched the animated film Dead Space Downfall, which clearly explains all of the backstory. Thanks to viewing the movie, I can actually tell you what the story is in Dead Space, so here we go. A mining colony on Aegis 7 discovers a bizarre artifact on the planet and soon has an outbreak of violent mental illness among the workers. The Church of the modern-day religion of Unitology receives word of this artifact called the Marker. They dispatch the planet-cracking mining ship, the USG Ishimura, to respond to the colony's distress signals and bring the Marker back to Earth. The Ishimura's operation is illegal, but an unusually large proportion of the crew are devout Unitologists who ain't gonna snitch nothing. It turns out that this marker defends against an alien virus that reanimates dead tissues into vicious monsters. Soon after the marker is brought aboard the Ishimura, the virus makes its way into the ship and all hell breaks loose. Almost everyone on board eventually dies, many of whom are infected and turn into necromorphs. The ship's security officer sacrificed herself to send a distress signal, which is responded to by the Kellion, manned by Kendra Daniels, Zach Hammond, and you, Isaac Clarke. Obviously, things go wrong and the team becomes stranded on the Ishimura, struggling to survive.
Decontamination sequence activated. Please stand by.
Dead Space follows the basic third-person survival horror formula. It's dark, it's lonely, resources are limited, and so is the narrow field of view. An enormous empty spaceship is an ideal location for this type of game, and Dead Space puts the futuristic theme to great use. All UI elements related to normal gameplay are integrated into the world, and this is a special treat for those of us playing in S3D. The map, journal, and inventory all display in front of Isaac, avoiding the gamey menu screens that pull you out of the experience. This also gave the developers the opportunity to keep the game running while you fiddle with your inventory, but it's mostly a wasted opportunity. If a room appears to be clear of necromorphs, it probably is, so there's no danger of being attacked while looking at the menus. Another disappointment was there were just way too many resources lying on the ground. I played on normal difficulty and I was very frugal with resources. The easily accessible storage box with unlimited capacity just made this problem worse. I quickly had a huge stockpile of resources and I was almost never in fear of not having what I needed to stay alive. This ruined a huge part of the feeling of fear when progressing through the game. The game was genuinely scary for the first 2 hours because I had no idea what to expect. but soon I learned all of Dead Space's tricks and was no longer in a constant state of terror. Playing became more of an atmospheric type of experience that sucked me in, but I was only frightened by the cheap surprise scares that were thankfully very rare. Isaac is an engineer, and his task aboard the ship is apparently to single-handedly fix the whole damn thing. Obviously, the point isn't to feel like you're doing amazing and heroic tasks while you pull levers and screw in loose bolts. The point is the journey to these tasks, which involves fighting the necromorphs. Isaac's weapons are nearly all engineering and mining tools repurposed for his current predicament, which is an absolutely awesome stylistic choice. It results in some very unique weapons too, like the Ripper that levitates a rotating buzzsaw at a distance. Cutting tools are the best weapons because they take advantage of Dead Space's strategic dismemberment system. Necromorphs merely laugh when their heads are cut off, so you're gonna have to get a lot more creative. Cut off their legs so that they can only slowly hobble, then sever the arms that they crawl on to finish the bastards off. Satisfying. It also creates the interesting scenario where the necromorphs are coming at you, the music is rising, and the adrenaline is gushing through your veins. You're gonna have to sit back, you're gonna have to control your emotions so you can make the precision shots necessary to survive. Oh man, it's absolutely genius and a lot of fun.
Warning, catastrophic failure of fuel containment. Evacuate the vessel immediately.
So, I heard immersion's a pretty good thing to have in survival horror games. That's why most of my time playing Dead Space was in the dead of night with 5.1 surround headphones and Nvidia's 3D vision. Oh my gosh, an immersion was attained. Dead Space is only rated fair by Nvidia with its countless rendering flaws that render it uncomfortable in S3D. Man, if only that Helix guy could just take a look at the game, I might be able to get some improvements, because right now the game just isn't. Except for flares, pretty much everything is fixed thanks to Helix mod fixes created by Helix himself. The result is one hell of an amazing experience. I cranked the depth up to 100% and the Ishimura came to life. The enclosed environments meant that the view distance was rarely far enough away to flatten the scene. Every inch of the hallways were at a different depth, giving a realistic feeling of volume. Having the depth so high gave me some undesirable effects though. Some of the zero gravity sections gave me extreme motion sickness, and I'm not a guy who has ever been sick from riding boats or roller coasters. S3D gave me the proper impression of how disorienting zero-G really is. I don't count it as a fault of the game or S3D, but I had to take breaks after these sections. Try it out yourself, then come back here and just let me know if I'm a wuss or not. Whatever, man. Fuck you. I had a pretty good time with Dead Space. I think some of the more menial tasks could have been removed from the game because my 11 hours with it dragged on at times, but the atmosphere was so well done that just walking around was immersive. The gameplay of Dead Space earns a 7. Stereoscopic 3D added so much to Dead Space that I wouldn't even dream of playing the game without it. The necromorphs had a real presence in the world, and the UI integration was just phenomenal. The effect the developers were trying to achieve with Dead Space gains more from S3D than any other game I've played yet. So, the S3DGZ perfect score goes out to Dead Space. 10 out of freaking 10, baby. So even if you've played Dead Space before, give it a shot in S3D. You won't be sorry. My name is Eincrou, and I have been your S3DGamerZone guide through Dead Space. Join us for further stereoscopic 3D gaming excursions anytime at www.s3dgamerzone.com. We try to make the best 3D videos we can, and we'd appreciate hearing about your experiences watching this review. Share with us if it was comfortable, or if you had troubles, and let us know what stereoscopic viewing method you used. Thanks for watching.